All right, guys, we are here today to talk about blood work and why your normal blood work isn't telling you the whole story. So if you've heard that from your doctor, it's time to listen up. But first, we should introduce ourselves.
For sure.
I'm Rhonda.
I'm Jeff.
And we're holistic practitioners here in Draper, Utah. We operate 7 Point Nutrition, and we help clients feel better. We help them change their lives through coaching, through blood work, through nutrition, and all sorts of things. But today we're just talking about blood work. So with that, let's first talk about what's the difference between pathological and functional. Because if you're watching this, you've landed somewhere in our landing page and we're talking about those. So what's the difference?
So the difference is this: pathological would be the average of the average person that's out there. And if the average person is unhealthy, why would you compare yourself to that average person? What you should be looking at is the functional, or I should say optimal, the optimal range. And that's what we operate from, is that, like, for example, like your testosterone, total testosterone, functional is anywhere between 200 to probably 750, depending on which testing company you use. Where functional is 900 to 1100. And these numbers I just gave you are for a male.
Important.
So make it
That's
very
important
clear.
to know too. There are differences, definitely. So the optimal range is much tighter, and it can really help people just dial in their overall health. It can also help find patterns, right?
For sure.
Patterns towards dysfunction, or even patterns towards healing and health.
You know, we refer to it as what's called functional mapping. So not one biomarker leads to one answer, right? There can be several biomarkers that lead to your conclusion of what's going on. That's truly functional mapping at an optimal level.
Yep. And a lot of doctors these days, typical doctors, again, using that normal pathological range, are going to miss some of these clues. Or what we've seen time and time again, unfortunately, is that they don't dig deep enough.
Yeah.
They might just take an overall look at, say, testosterone, the example you
Your
gave.
numbers within your pathological range. Oh, you're fine. Everything's okay.
You're
but you don't
normal.
feel good.
You're normal, but yet
you don't feel good. You still feel off. You still feel all the symptoms you're having and stuff, and they're not doing anything about it. And here's a good example for you. I have a recent client, and this client is actually in our coaching platform. And he did send me his previous blood work, which was, I believe, done I think 3 or 4 months ago. And within this blood panel, there were several biomarkers that were actually outside the functional range. And for him, his response was, he's like, do doctors not know what they're talking about? Because why wasn't this taken care of back 3 or 4 months ago? I could have been ahead of the game right now with what I was trying to do on my own. Well, unfortunately, that is a lot of the situations that we deal with, and that's why we are doing what we do with our practice. We're here to change that one person at a time.
Yep. And what's unfortunate is that, we're not coming at doctors. We
not at all.
need doctors. No. We need modern medicine, absolutely. And a lot of times they're just not trained to, dig into that functional level, and then
or they're too busy. That's the other side of it too, where they're limited with the amount of time they actually can spend with you and really dig deep and really drive into the questions that really need to be answered for them to get to the direction that you need to have.
And that's a whole nother rabbit hole we can go
exactly.
into as to why that's happening. But let's bring it back in.
Yeah.
And that's a great example. And one I had recently from a client is just something as simple as vitamin D. Vitamin D, the range, the pathological, the normal doctor range that they want you to be at, a minimum of 30. And I had a client who came in at 22, which is below that range and well below the optimal range of 50. And that doctor's literally just said, your vitamin D is a little low. You could maybe benefit from taking some vitamin D. Yeah. And that's it. Didn't suggest a recommendation on how much. How long do I take this much? What does it look like? Why is vitamin D important? And we take the time to educate and all of that with our clients. And vitamin D, if you don't know, every single cell in your body needs vitamin D, and it impacts everything from immune system to hormones. So super important. If that client can get up to that 50 mark at minimum, maybe even 80 in that optimal range, that alone is probably going to make her feel so much better.
When we're talking about the functional or optimal range and functional mapping, here's a couple examples of what we would actually provide to you. So this is a part of our report that we would actually give to a client, which would talk about your functional process on your body, some dysbiosis that could be happening in your body or projecting to happen. And then also one of the reports that we give too is actually a health concern, and actually give you a nice layout of as far as all the health concerns that you actually have going on with that current blood work that you have provided to us, either your previous blood work or the blood work that we actually would do within our practice too as well. So
Yep, and this report is amazing. He just showed you 2 pages. It's more like 30 pages.
So very
It's
detailed.
pretty in-depth, and it really helps, like we talked about, put those patterns and that web together in terms of how all these biomarkers impact and work together with one another. Not just, oh, here's a red flag, here's a medicine I can give you for that red flag. So that's where we come in. We help identify those patterns, dig deep, find out truly what's causing it, and then help you fix it.
Yeah.
Right?
Our view is a holistic approach. So heal the body from the inside out. You can do a lot with changing the things within your body, those biomarkers, without a prescription. Now, if prescriptions are needed, that is definitely something that can be handled too as well. So,
And we can even do that here.
yes, we do have a nurse practitioner on staff too as well. As long as you're in the state of Utah, we can do that for you. So,
Yep. So if this intrigues you, if you have blood work and you want a more functional approach, you want this big, long report and some feedback and recommendations, we can do that. Or if you just need to start from scratch and get whole new blood work, we can walk you through the whole process. Book a call, it's free. You can jump on a call with one of us or one of our teammates here, and we can talk to you. A quick phone call, go through some options and just see if it's a good fit and see how we might be able to help.
thanks guys for your time. You guys have a great day. We look forward to talking to you soon.